All right, how are y'all doing? We're live in Houston, Texas. We're just getting our cameras all fixed up here, but we do have many updates about immigration law here in the United States that can affect your case. All right, so trying to go live on Instagram at the same time. Okay, so first thing here, I appreciate you tuning in. We have a lot of updates for you, within the past 2 weeks, really. I already talked about the last live show about 2 days ago about the priorities for immigration. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. But for today, as my title has shown, when is your interview? Okay. State Department updates. All right. Department of State. Now, I do see some questions. I appreciate the comments. But first, I'd like to share what this video is about, of course. Let's see here. Number one, we just want to share a story of one of our viewers, actually, and some of our clients are experiencing similar situations about having the fiancé visa interview abroad. One of them was in China, okay? And thanks for joining in. One of them is in China, and they did not have to schedule the interview on their own. It was a phone call by the government, the consulate, and said, a phone call and email, and said, this is when your interview will be. However, they did suffer some setback. They had the interview, didn't take long, but they didn't have the fingerprints taken. So when they had to go back to where they normally live, it's not just walking down the block, it was not just a taxi. They had to fly back to where they were living in China, right? So, and the consulate called them right back the same day and said, oh, shoot, you need to come back and get your fingerprints done. So that was a hassle for them, very inconvenient situation, because over there in China, they had, COVID-19 pandemic protocols where they have to take a, the test, the COVID test, to make sure you didn't get infected with COVID during travel, for example. So it's very inconvenient. So if my tip to you is that please share, my tip to you is that please ask the officer when you get that phone call or email, hey, can I get my fingerprints done? Because you want to get it done in the same day if you can. You don't have to travel back and forth. It's pretty ridiculous that the consular officer didn't assist with that. But hey, that's honestly not their job. So you need to be proactive and make sure that you get that taken care of, because they're not going to be taking care of it for you. Now I realize this. Okay, so let's see here. So back to the list. I just want to share that story. So thank you for our YouTube subscriber for sharing that story. If you personally are going through a situation and have a difficult time, please share that with us so we can share with all our viewers and subscribers. All right, so now going to some of the actual other updates. The big one, all right, friends, the big one is that the number of visas for employment-based are increasing significantly, okay? Significant significant visas allocation is going to increase to 262,000, all right? And 262,000 employment-based visas, because before the normal level is 140,000, okay? So, but now it's increasing. And here's the reason why. So this is only for employment-based. And the reason is because the family-based visa allocation, because they weren't being used because of the backlog of visas, they're using the past year's allocation to the next fiscal year. Okay, so it's going up to 262,000. People ask, who is this going to help the most? Inherently, it's going to help people who are from China and India, because right now the priority date, as you might know, is many years in the past. Okay, so let's see here. Let me look that up real quick, but you probably already know what that is. So let's see here. But for example, this is for fiscal year And he also mentioned for fiscal year 2022 will go up to 290,000. All right, so that's a lot. That's a lot of visas for employment based. So that's a great thing. So for people who have not filed and don't know anything about employment based green card preference categories, we're happy to help you. If you're watching on YouTube, our number, you see our number there, but it's 346-330-5888. And of course, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can click the description box below for our intake form that starts with Ting Law. I'm happy to walk you through all the steps. All right, because it is a very complicated process. All right, so let's see here. So I know a lot of y'all are anxious about the process, the interview. Let me share you some examples of what else we have here as I pull up the visa bulletin. Okay, so I have so much to share, but it just caught my mind here that I want to share this immediately to you because I had a phone call earlier today. One of my colleagues someone called him and said their client or the person called they referred their case to court, immigration court, for deportation, for removal. And it's not the typical, like they got arrested, DWI, no crimes. They didn't do anything wrong. They actually invested at least $500,000 to the United States, not to the government, but to the economy, right? Through a regional center. And now this regional center, if you know anything about EB-5 investor visas, there are stories of regional centers, basically fund managers, who that are fraudulent. So they went bankrupt, and so that's a problem, right? So if you're in a situation like that, we're also happy to assist you. Their case, for example, got referred to the Los Angeles Immigration Court, which is now open right now, by the way. Many other courts are default closed right now for non-detained cases until July 6th. Okay, for example, we have one that was scheduled for this coming Monday, June 14th. Even though the hotline and our court automated system still shows June 14th for Houston, for example, we rely on the court website that shows the pandemic operations system, and that shows they're resuming cases July 6th. So that is our controlling document, okay? So if you have any questions about that, if you're not sure if your court hearing is rescheduled or not, we're happy to help you and search that pandemic operational website. Actually, I will put that in the description below after the show, so you could probably find out yourselves, okay? Save you some time. Let's see here, but I was talking about employment-based. I know I keep going back and forth. Okay, so employment-based cases here for EB2 and EB3, for example, India, your waiting prior date right now shows December 10th, 2001. I'm sorry, December 1st, 2010. For EB2, EB3 is November 1st, 2011. All right, that's for the final action dates. But if you have a prior date, for example, EB2, it shows before August 2011, or EB3, January 2014, then you can go ahead and prepare and provide the financial documents or any documents that to the National Visa Center, okay? So kind of give you an idea. The point is, it's a long wait time. So now with the increased allotment of visas for employment-based, you can get this. They're probably going to update the visa bulletin this fall. Okay, that would significantly help you. All right. Let's see what else to share with you. All right. Communication from National Visa Center. You may have received, just like ourselves, our office, and some of our clients, received an email from the National Visa Center. It is very straightforward. Okay, it is supposed to help us to understand the process. Normally, they don't do this, but okay, but what they're doing right now is emailing us and saying, hey, your case is documentarily qualified. We have all the documents that the National Visa Center has, and they usually send it 60 days after they receive those documents, so they have time to review it. Unfortunately, it's not a robot. It's not a computer bot, internet bot reviewing it that quickly. Okay, so you do have to be patient. Sometimes we receive it once or sometimes twice for a particular immigrant applicant. So just because you receive it twice doesn't mean anything's changed necessarily. If the same information, again, is probably just an automated system. I'm pretty sure there's a human that clicked enter, but it's still an automated system. So don't think that if you receive the same email twice, like something's wrong. That's not the case. All right. And if it's not exactly 60 days after you filed, provided your documents, again, nothing wrong. But you can go into your account on the ceac.state.gov, and it can give you an indication if something's wrong or not. But if something was wrong, or wrong in the sense that you uploaded incorrect documentation, for example, we had a client who gets paid passive income, which is great. If you can get paid passive income, and he had a promissory note. And that says how is he's getting promissory passive income. But so that means he doesn't have a W-2 or 1099, but now he now has a regular job, 9-to-5 type of job. So now he's getting W-2 or 1099 because that's what the government prefers. Okay, so that's why I just want to give you an update if MVC or CEAC system shows that you need to upload something different. Okay. Also here, the other thing I can update you is the national interest exception. Okay. I keep talking about this. We're going to have a free webinar about it. Hopefully next week. I keep pushing it back just because we get a lot of calls in case with deadlines. But I know you've been asking about it. If you're a professional athlete and you're watching it, the national interest exception does not include you. I'm sorry, but I know many people watching are not professional athletes. I dreamed that I was, but anyway. So Department of State, this is how it works. Professional athletes, Department of Homeland Security has to approve it on your behalf. But anyways, Department of State is not handling that. So it's two different agencies, okay? But in general, the specific consulate office is not handling the national interest exception. It goes to another consular officer. It seems that they have a very streamlined process. So if you contact the specific consular post, they might not have the answer for you immediately, okay? After you apply. But we'll cover that more next week. Okay, so now some other things to share with you is so that 262,000 visas for employment base, that's a big news. The other thing is for, people are asking about, if you have questions, keep posting in the comments. We'll get to it soon. Consular post reopening, okay? The State Department said that from a meeting from December 11th, 2020, you probably already heard this, and also from last month, I do have a priority list of basically a priority list from 1 to 4. And we just had a couple calls about this. Family preference is tier 3, okay? So that means if your petitioner sponsor is a green card holder, resident holder, okay, that means you have to wait till tier 3. We were just looking up for one of our clients, and yesterday, I believe, for Mumbai and New Delhi, they only had 1 or 2 for family preference. So even though there's a tier, there's 2 things to know about this priority list. Thanks for joining us on Instagram. Appreciate it. I want to wave at you. If you're on, there's 2 things to know about the tiers, okay? The list of priority. That is, it needs to be a fair system, fair process, because even though they say, we're going to process for everyone, but they need to have a specific percentage for, let's say, each tier, each category, because there's only 1 or 2 for family preference categories for some of the consulates. It's pretty ridiculous. Like I saw Mumbai for the month of April is the latest that they've shown us statistics, and I haven't seen May pop up yet. I just checked yesterday, but it had like 500 IR and about 300 for CR. Conditional resident is for CR and IR for immediate relative. And it was quite a bit. It was a lot. But for family preference, only one or two. So they need to step that up for sure, because I believe tier 3 or tier 4 is also for employment based. All right. So that's something to know. All right. What else that's important for y'all to know here? There's so much information. I have 24 pages worth of updates. Don't worry. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to see what is most relevant to you. By the way, if you are you have F1 or you're going through the process and you're waiting for interview, there has been a news bulletin saying that they're going to prioritize students, okay, for non-immigrant visas for interview. I believe in the month of July and August, of course, before school starts. And they're paying attention to it, right? Because your tuition is international tuition in America. That's a lot of money. So thank you for contributing to the U.S. economy. But President Trump did not pay attention to that. He was very restrictive. Let's see here. Thanks for joining on Instagram and YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, it says for China, at least for student visas, operations on May 4th and prioritizing it, including M visa and J visa. Okay. So I know some of y'all that are on J visa, what's it called? You could be an au pair, I guess you'd call it like a babysitter, caretaker. So a lot of y'all are waiting on that, especially with pandemic. A lot of U.S. families in America are missing that service, of course. So thanks for that, and please continue applying for J visa. Okay, it says that if the question is, if processing at post in China remain extremely limited, would Department of State be willing to designate other posts in the region to accept third country national Chinese F1 applicants, for example, following a mandatory 14-day quarantine period? And they respond, all applicants, including Chinese nationals, are able to interview at any operating post in the world. Last year, Chinese students applied for visas in Canada, Europe, Latin America, and neighboring countries in Asia. Applicants should comply with local and U.S. quarantine and testing requirements before departing for the United States. Okay. Let's see here. So that's important to know. All right. So comply with that. We're going to have a separate video tomorrow about the CDC guidelines for travel, especially for U.S. citizens and non-U.S. nationals. Okay. There's some important updates there. Okay. So yeah, basically they say you can have the interview anywhere. So you have to figure that out. Okay. The question is, have any consulate post fully resumed normal operations? If so, how many and which posts? Okay, they say the status of embassy and consulates operations changes in line with local conditions. Of course, AKA that means how bad is the pandemic in your country, okay? For example, India, right? Because President Biden had to sign another proclamation. Well, I mean, he did sign a proclamation specific to India. I believe it was a month ago by now. So, I mean, I know it's tough if you have to make choices. I know there was an election there in India, and also a religious celebration that was very important to people. But if you attend anything like that, please continue wearing a mask, okay? Even in America, a lot of states are saying you don't have to wear the mask. CDC says you don't have to. Depends on the circumstance, but I highly recommend it, even if you're vaccinated, because the mask is not to protect. Is to also mainly to protect the other person, whoever's close to you, okay? I see I have a request to join the live video, but I appreciate it. But today is really just to share all these updates. So Tay Nails Beauty, let's see. Well, let me see if I can try it, okay? We have some time. We got 10 minutes. Let me see if I can do this. It only will show. Okay, maybe her request went away, but okay. Catherine is a name. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, y'all are watching on YouTube. You might not be able to see this because I don't know how to. Okay, well, anyway, in the meantime, let's see here. As of May 12th, 2021, 133 of the 139 immigrant visa processing consulates are processing at least routine immigrant visa services. So in the remainder, they say they're just focusing on emergency services. However, almost every day we check, okay? Let's see here. Visa appointment times. Okay. I saw this and I typed in one country and it said, I believe it was Ciudad Juarez, okay, and in Mexico. And it still says emergency appointments only. That is a lie, okay? That is a lie. There's still, sorry, I keep looking up and down because I got my phone down here for Instagram. Okay, so that is a lie because there are many visas, immigrant visas, being processed in Mexico, Ciudad Juarez, consulate post, embassy. So don't be misled, okay? Don't be fearful that don't be so concerned that your consulate on the internet website, the Department of State website, shows emergency service only. Okay, they are processing many visas. Okay, applications for interview. All right, so don't be concerned on that, and make sure, because some people we know get called, phone call or email. So make sure if your phone number changes for any reason, please. Deeth, I do see your question. We'll get to it. Okay. Thank you very much. Please know they are processing. If you have a question about your specific consulate, please let me know. Drop in the comments, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, or just fill out the intake form on our page, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. All right. Our CARES team will take care of you and schedule you for an appointment, whether you speak with them directly or with our legal team. But by the way, I can show the code on if you're watching on Instagram, you don't know the code probably. The code is Green Card Guys, but we do offer free preliminary 15 minutes a consultation directly with our CARES team or our legal team, depending on the qualifications of your case. All right, because we get a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of phone calls. We're trying to get to you, so we greatly appreciate it. Let's see here though. I've only gone through page 5, and there's 24 pages total. Okay, something else I want to share with you. I probably mentioned this before, but there was a question about waiving the interviews. Okay, I mean waiving the in-person interview at the consulates. So far, they said no. We still have to meet in person. All right, because you have to raise your right hand and swear to the truth of your application and anything that you're going to share. Okay, which that brings up a story I need to share with you. Please do not lie to immigration, okay? You're going to make it worse for yourself. I have a short story to share with you. I've had a couple clients come to us and say, for the first time, say, John, I don't know what's the problem. Our team investigates. We ask, what did you write on the previous application, your visitor visa application, DS-160? You don't remember? Let's get a copy of it. Turns out, they were not actually married before, but it shows married on the application. A big no-no. We have to file a misrepresentation form, I-601, all right? And find out the story if they actually filled out the application themselves. Most of the time, people tell me they didn't fill it out and they hired some kind of immigration consultant, okay? So newsflash, before you file any application, please do not hire an immigrant consultant or a notario. I know some of y'all are watching who are probably a notario. I get it. I appreciate it. But please do not hire a notario, okay? All immigration lawyers, all the good ones I know, we can all agree on something, and that is we're glad that Trump is not president. But number 2, please do not hire a notary, notario, or a consultant because they don't have a license to practice law. In fact, at least in Texas, and I'm sure in many other states by now, it is a felony in Texas if you practice law. All right. I got a hands up, high five from another fellow attorney, Momita. I greatly appreciate it. See, we agree. All right. So the other thing is, oh my gosh, I'm still on page 5 of all these updates. All right. So what else can we share with you? Well, they say that there's 500,000, nearly 500,000 cases stuck in the immigrant visa backlog. Okay. So if you're going through a situation and you probably waiting since before the pandemic, a lot of our clients that have asked us to file lawsuits, we call it mandamus. Number one, we're happy to help you. Okay. Number two, if for some reason we don't have a certification where you live and you have a case within the United States for adjustment of status, we have a referral network. We can refer you to another attorney in that district or that region of the United States. But hey, if your fiance or your spouse, family member has been waiting abroad and stuck outside the United States, let us know. We can definitely at least sue the government agencies in the Washington, D.C. District Court, okay? But let's see, what else? But you've been stuck for a while. We have a lot of clients who have been stuck before 2020, before the pandemic. Many of our clients that are stuck for the pandemic, or because they need to file mandamus, have some kind of receipt date petition before 2020. Okay, so let's see what else. We're getting close to 30 minutes, so I just do have a couple minutes. I do want to get to the questions. I appreciate your patience. All right, so on YouTube, we got a question that's asked from Manjat. Another $1 million question. When is the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi, India, going to resume interviews? Okay, I pulled up the New Delhi. I got prepared for your question because I saw your question right when we're going live. All right, so this is what I see. What I normally do, number one, I wish we had up-to-date information from consulates in terms of opening dates, but we don't, to be honest. If some other attorney does, then I need to find out, but I don't have that information. So what I do is I look at the Department of State. Okay, on YouTube and Facebook, I can try to share the screen. Okay, let me see if I can do that. I've got so many tabs open, friends. Okay, we got a question from Jorge and Atita, I believe. So let me very important questions, but let's see. Okay, I think you can see this. So I'm here at the U.S. Embassy for New Delhi. Hey, TX Fanny, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. We got some top news here on Friday, June 11th. Thank you so much for subscribing. Follow us on YouTube, or subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Greatly appreciate it. And by the way, we do have, let me answer this question first. Okay. All right. It says, student visas remain a top priority. I'm here at the embassy page for New Delhi. Okay, student visas remain top priority, and we're making every attempt to facilitate student travel in time for the fall semester. Okay, I covered that. As such, on June 14th, that's coming up on Monday. There we go. Hey, that's the answer to your question. I actually have a solid answer on this one. We will open limited July and August student visa appointments at posts across India. Okay, well, not exactly what you wanted, because I'm assuming you're not a student, Manjat. So, but here, anyway, they have instructions about that specifically. All right, let's see. But other than that, I mean, they're just prioritizing student visas, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be closed completely, right? If they're going to be open, they're going to be open for all visa appointments. All right, so hopefully that helps on that note for that question. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, Adita. Hey, John. Or hey, Adita, you finally got your U visa derivative biometrics appointment, but they sent it to U.S. location. Yes, because you're outside U.S. You're not in the U.S. You tried to mail them. Will it be a problem? Even your attorney sent your notice. Okay, I've had a couple of these actually, and the ridiculous. Some of the consulates are closed. Well, I mean, they're open, right? We've been saying that most of them are open, but they're closed for the purpose of they're not accepting, helping you take your fingerprints, your biometrics. So this is something we've done. This is new. We don't know if it's going to work, to be honest, but we asked our clients to do the fingerprints on their own or hire, like, I guess, a local person in your region to help you do the fingerprints. It doesn't need to be some professional. You just really need an ink pad, put each finger onto the fingerprint card. Okay, there's a specific one that the government probably already sent you, Adita. And then what I did is we sent, because Vermont Service Center, I believe, is the service center that sent it to us. They actually sent us the fingerprint card. Okay, actually, I think they sent it directly to the client. That's what it was. So the client got it done by a local person. Okay, and then we got it. They mailed it to us. Then we mail it directly to USCIS. Okay, Service Center. And we told them in the cover letter, we tried to go to a local consulate, and they said they did not allow it. In fact, we also emailed them. Okay, we also emailed them asking if we could get it done, get an appointment for biometrics at the consulate. They replied and said, no, the services have suspended until the pandemic is completely over. Who the heck knows when it's going to be over? It could be forever, right? I imagine that the COVID-19 shot vaccine is going to probably replace the flu shot, the regular flu shot. But I'm not a doctor. I have no MD. That's what I've read. Okay. So anyways, pandemic can last forever. Who knows? And then, so please continue wearing your mask. Practice social distancing. Okay. I appreciate it. Then we send it to USCIS in the United States with a fingerprint card. Okay, Adita. So hopefully that helps you. I see that you said your attorney sent your notice late to you. Okay, well, email the consulate. Okay, it's just so you have proof, because we provide the PDF document. We provide it with proof in response to requests for evidence. Okay. Sorry, I get a little excited when I have some answers for you. But hey, here's a free code. Okay, if you're watching on the on YouTube and Facebook, Green Card Guys, if you want that free 15 minutes and this will be your first time, you want to take advantage of it. Okay, friends, please do. We're happy to guide you from start to finish. We solve your immigration problem. We're happy to do it. Okay, Jorge, you got a question on YouTube. For those watching on Insta, happy to share with you. His question is, he was told by a representative. I don't know who the representative is. Does that mean your lawyer, Jorge? Let me know. Or is this another immigration consultant or notario? Watch out for that. Let's see. Your representative told you had to exit the United States because you were about to age out, and that you would need to waiver. You would need a waiver, and you're 20 years old now. Well, let me know where you're at. Okay, I can't give you certain advice here, but Jorge, I first, number one, recommend fill out the intake form. Okay, brother, please fill out the intake form, schedule so our team can call you, find a time to speak with you, because it sounds like you may have a pretty big issue. I'm not sure. I need to know your entire situation. But yet in the eyes of immigration, you say that you're still considered 18 years old. Was it a good idea to exit the United States? Well, I mean, you have no idea, but something, okay, something like a lawyer. So that means it's not a lawyer. Okay, so, and you're Sinaloa, Mexico. All right, so back to your main question though. Okay, yes, number one, the law is that if you have been living in the United States underage, under 18 years old, you do not, by law, you do not accrue unlawful presence. I know it's kind of strange, even though you don't have legal status, but that is one good thing about immigration law, at least. There's many good things, but it's very limited. All right, so some lawyers, this is what I suggest, is that if you're under 18, every situation is different, but just generally speaking, yes, if you're under 18 and you're about to become an adult and because right when you turn 18 years old, it starts accruing unlawful presence. That's very important to know, okay? So many good lawyers I know suggest, you know what, you probably should go back to your birth country, your country of nationality, before you turn 18 in the United States, because we want to get you the legal status the right way, okay? So it just depends. In general, I would say, yes, that's a good idea that you exited before you turned 18, Jorge. But because usually it's difficult. It can be difficult to qualify for a waiver for the 601A unlawful presence waiver. All right. So hopefully that helps. We got, but Jorge, I need to know more information. Maybe you can qualify at least for a petition. Maybe one of your family members can file for you in the meantime. All right. Appreciate it. Kellogg's fan. This will be the last question I could answer on YouTube or Insta. But otherwise, if you have more questions, please fill out the intake form down below. Okay. You're welcome, Jorge. You're welcome. All right, Kellogg's fan. I don't know why I think Kellogg's, the cereal or the Kellogg School of Business. I think it is in Chicago, right? C1 visa. Oh boy. Okay. Crewman visa. Or I guess you can say, I don't know if you're man or woman, or any other gender. C1 crew woman visa. Phil filed marriage with citizen adjustment status. You came in 2009. Oh, transit. Okay. Not crewman. Transit visa. Well, I mean, I don't handle those visas, but aren't they the same? Let's see. Transit visa. C visa. Okay. Yeah. All right. Interesting. But I would think, yeah, they still have a bar from adjusting. Okay. Because, I mean, it's really like the same thing as, it would be considered the same as a crewman visa. But let me finish reading your question. Okay, you got your EAD and social security number. You went to interview nice off. So yeah, most of the time they are nice, but they still follow the law. So I went there to approve. Case must be reviewed. Will they approve? Well, I mean, yeah, I'm at the USCIS policy manual, friends. This is where we look for the accurate information to see if this is a bar from you applying or from you obtaining status, adjustment status, aka green card. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, it says non-citizen admitted in transit without visa. This bar does not apply to a non-citizen who was admitted as a transit non-citizen. Such a long phrase. With a C1, C2, or C3 non-immigrant visa. Okay, all right. Maybe that's what the officer needs to look at, but that's what I would tell him. All right. Congratulations to you. Good, but that's what it says in right here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that brings up a good point. I mean, okay. So I do want to raise, so I hope I answer your question, but so far what I see, that should be okay. All right. If you have C1, C2, or C3. Okay. Well, it does say one thing. Nevertheless, the Immigrant Nationality Act still bars an applicant who, in fact, was admitted under that TWOV is what they call it for short, transit without visa, when he or she last came to the United States. However, the bar does not apply to VAWA-based applicants. Okay, so I don't know, Kellogg's fan, I don't know if the petition, I'm assuming a spouse, right? I didn't see that, but you saw you put in I-130, so it's not a VAWA. Okay. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what it says here. Non-citizens who transit through the United States after August 7th, 2003 are required to obtain a C non-immigrant visa. Okay, so before it was a waiver program, but now you have to have the actual visa, C1, 2, or 3. Thus, the bar does not apply to a non-citizen other than crewman. So yeah, crewman has a bar. You cannot get adjustment on that. Admitted as a C1, 2, or 3 if the citizen has C1, 2, or 3 in order to transit through the United States. Okay, yeah. So basically, all right. All right, Kellogg's, I see your comment. You are not crewman. Thank goodness. Thank goodness you are not crewman. Okay. Yes, there's a marriage. Congratulations. Hey, based on what I see, USCIS policy manual, It says if you have the actual visa after August 7th, 2003, you're good to go. There is no bar. So congratulations, okay? If you want the actual link to it, we're happy to share it with you. Please fill out the form below, okay? Or give us a text and mention your YouTube name, Kellogg's Fan, and we'll send it right to you, okay? Hopefully that helps. All right, friends, we just hit 40 minutes. We greatly appreciate it. Today's Friday, June 11th. So we'll be on again on a live show on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Central Time, and we'll fill in the details for you about the webinar, okay, the free webinar on how to email requesting national interest exception. Stay tuned, friends, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.